admit, so we've been sitting here trying to think of something for a cold open. So I finally keyed to, I'll just go to like a classic conversation starter or something, and we can theme it around. We're in dud month, so I'm thinking I'm like in the well of shit or whatever. So I've got two. I got to think of a third one.
These like icebreakers that you do at like The Office.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Two truths and one lie.
Close, but no. I'm thinking fuck, marry, kill.
Oh boy.
Respucia from Norbit. Arthur, I think, from Ben and Arthur, which I believe is Sam Marovich's character.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I got that right. And I'm trying to think of another like romance one that we did to try to keep it in that same vein, or like romance centric one. How about I can't think of his name. Matthew McConaughey from Tiptoes. We'll go with those guys.
Okay.
Steven.
Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and say kill Respucia. There's no way, there's no way in hell. Like there's like I'm doing anything with that woman except for, man, killing her would be like if we're like following through with like, you know, I guess like a murder, that would be so difficult because like there's no way you can dispose of a body that big easily.
Plus then you got to contend with her three brothers too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Terry Crews is coming at you. And then between
and what's your, because me and Khalil have had disagreements over this, what is your like what is your like, what do you consider? So marry is you marry, you know, you're with them and whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Is the fuck like you kind of, it's like a one and done and then they're gone, or it's just like a regular kind of like a side piece that you're allowed to?
Yeah, I think you'd have to like differentiate it a little bit because I think with marriage, like I feel like sex is implied.
That's what I think. I think it's like that marry is the one that you want to, that you think you could stand the most, that you would want to be with the most, but also you would obviously be banging them, right? Well, you know, banging them here and there.
Yeah, I think obviously the idea is that this is it's almost like a hall pass, or like, you know, someone that you want to bone, but not necessarily someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
That it's more of like a one night stand or a fling, maybe. So with that working definition, damn, it's tough. I think I would marry Arthur.
Whoa. Okay. And you'd bang
Matthew McConaughey from Tiptoes. Okay. Because Matthew McConaughey from Tiptoes was kind of a bigot, I guess.
I mean, they're all psychopaths in their own ways.
Yes. Oh, that's kind of funny. Matthew McConaughey's a bigot in Tiptoes, like because he's big, also because they're all.
Oh yeah.
But he's like self-hating. He like is embarrassed by his family, and he's kind of a shithead at the end of that movie. So it's just like, you know, maybe he's a tender lover that's good for like a one night fling. But Sam Marovich, I don't know. Maybe he's so like repressed that I would never have to have sex with him anyway. And he seems independently wealthy. So like I could at least, you know, we could travel places, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think that's where I would fall. I would shoot Respucia with a gun 1,000,000 times.
I have different answers like all across. I'm gonna kill Arthur.
Interesting.
You know, I mean, you could make this argument with Respucia too, but Arthur actually does like kill. He's like suicide. I don't know. It's a little too much, I think. And I just think he's just got too much. He's just too much. I think I'd fuck Respucia.
Hey man, I'm not judging.
And then I'd marry Matthew McConaughey because I'm tall, so you know he wouldn't have any issues with me. So we'd get along right. Yeah,
I guess that is true. I'm not a little person, so I guess he wouldn't be embarrassed of me or hate me outright.
Yeah, I don't know. You put the right wig on Respucia, you know, I can just do it from behind.
Oh man.
I'll be your tap dancing instructor.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because like there is that scene in that movie where it's like every time they have sex, she just like catapults herself at him and like shatters the bed every single time.
See, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm interested in. That's why that intrigues me. I'm like, I'm
bored with the conventions of sex to the point where this is like the only thing that can get me off now.
It's definitely a one and done, but I'm like, I gotta try it out.
To take it for a test spin.
Yeah.
Oh. How you doing?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna go with horror centric ones. Okay, we're gonna go Moose from The Fanatic, Billy from Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Angela from Sleepaway Camp. Or and Angela.
Oh, well, Angela's a child.
Oh, okay, fine. Angela from Return to Sleepaway Camp. Sure, well.
Angela from Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Sure.
Okay, so it was Angela, and then it was... Give me the other two again.
Billy from Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Moose from The Fanatic.
Oh, man. I think I would kill Moose from The Fanatic.
Okay.
I think he would be all three of these people are killing me eventually. All three of these people, I'm not lasting very long.
The precedents that, these are all like murderers. Yeah.
So really, I'm just like delaying my own demise and trying to have as much fun as I can before I'm killed in some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, then that might change things because I think Angela's killing me way faster, or Billy is.
Okay.
But then again, I feel like Billy would be a wild time in the sack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no. Is Billy's the killer in the first one?
Well, I meant the second one. Whatever.
Yeah, because Billy
Ricky,
is like
I'm sorry. I meant Ricky.
Okay, so you meant Ricky
from the second one.
Yes. Okay. In that case, because I was gonna say kill Moose because he's annoying, but
yeah.
You know what? I might still stick with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll kill Moose because he's annoying and clingy, and I don't want to hear about what's his face, the guy that he's obsessed with.
Hunter Dunbar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn, you had that like on lock. That. I guess I would. I don't know. I guess I would marry Ricky because he's like in an insane asylum. So like it'd be one of those.
Oh, sure, you could look at it that way.
Marriages, like a paper marriage where I come in and I visit him and it's supervised and he's in a. I mean, he's getting out eventually. He will break out and he will hunt me down and kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I'm fucking Angela.
Okay.
Which I feel like could be pretty wild.
Yeah.
In Return to Sleepaway Camp, I mean. So wait, is the implication that she still has a penis?
I forget if I think she's
Did she get bottom surgery?
I'm not sure. There's some stuff in like the interim where I don't know. It's whatever.
Oh yeah, you did watch all of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's Angela in Return to Sleepaway Camp as the police officer with the throw thing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
She ties me up to that tree and then edges me with a car.
Yeah. I think I'm also with you in killing Moose, but I think I'm gonna flip the other two.
Okay.
My reasoning is you're right. Either way, they're gonna get out of prison because that's just how it is. I think that Angela, it would be if I'm looking for like happiness in my marriage as well as like not being murdered by my spouse. I think she has a little bit. I think it would be easier to kind of follow her. She's basically just like, as long as you're a happy camper, as long as you're not like picking on like weird kids.
Oh yeah,
you're cool in her book for the most part. Ricky, it's true. Like, I don't fucking know. Plus,
you could be taking the trash out, and he determines it's time for you to die.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think he'd be a wild time in the sack, like you said.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool. That's a good well to dip into.
If we don't have something one week, we should just do that every time.
Yeah, that's good.
It becomes a segment on the show now.
Yeah. Cool. Now we can get into it. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to There Will Be Duds, another episode of that thing. This is episode 176. Is it 6 or 5? 5 or 6? 6?
76.
And I'm your co-host TJ, and with me as always,
I am burping. I am Nick.
And as always, also we watched a movie. This is our Dud month, so it is yet another Dud movie, and that movie for this week is movie 43 from 2013. It's directed by Stephen Brill, Peter Farrelly, Will Graham, Steve Carr, Griffin Dunn, James Duffy, Jonathan Van Tilliken, Elizabeth Banks, Patrick Forsberg, Brett Ratner, Rusty Cundiff, James Gunn, Bob Odenkirk, Steve Baker, Damon Escott, and it's written by Steve Baker, Ricky Blitt, Will Carlo, Tobias Carlson, Jacob Flesher, Patrick Forsberg, Will Graham, James Gunn, Claes Kellstrom, Jack Kokoda, Bob Odenkirk, Bill O'Malley, Matthew Eilick Portnoy, Greg Pritkin, Rocky Russo, Ale Sari, Elizabeth Rice Shapiro, Jeremy Sisenko, Jonathan Van Tilliken, Jonas Wittenmark, and it's an anthology movie. Okay. And that's it.
I hope that is on the screen right now for the director. Directed by like
I thought about just like having it run off the screen. Yeah.
That would be that's a good bit.
Yeah, sketch comedy. That's it. That's the
yeah.
It literally there isn't really a plot. It's just a sketch comedy thing. There really isn't.
So,
I was gonna say, even if I tried to do the like a plot synopsis, I'm sure. Did you see the thing about how there's like two different versions or whatever?
I was about to ask which version you watched.
I watched the only one I could, because when I found out, I like looked at the other streaming services that it was available on, and it's all the version with the kids, and like that's the one you saw. So the other one is the one with Dennis Quaid and Greg Kinnear, and apparently that was the U.S. release. And the one
I did not. You know what? I did not see Dennis Quaid and Greg Kinnear.
I just said Greg Kinnear. There's a couple.
Yeah,
other
I didn't
people
see
in it
them
too. Yeah, no, but they're like on the. They were like on the thing because it's on Plex and Amazon, and they have like the little like cast list things, and they're like at the top.
Yeah, I watched it on Prime Video, and it was the one with the kids.
Yeah. So I watched it on one, and then I was like, oh, okay, so that's like that's the UK version apparently. I don't know why they changed it, but that one with the kids and like the finding movie 43 on the like the dark web or whatever. is the UK version.
So you didn't see Fisher Stevens?
No, I did. No, I did. I watched the one with the kids as well. I watched the same one as you.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying the other one. I tried finding the other one, so I I started the movie on like 3 different streaming sites, and they all are the version with the kids. So I couldn't find the. I couldn't find the apparent like US release version.
I wonder why that is.
Very bizarre. I don't know.
I wonder if there's some sort of. I wonder if there's something in it that like they don't have copyright for anymore, or I don't know how that shit works. Like I know in like Jeopardy reruns, there's certain reruns that they don't show because they use like licensed music in them, and like they don't have the license for it anymore.
Maybe.
I don't know if that really works with movies, but it's like I don't know. It seems really strange to only release like one version.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that version was it's Dennis Quaid is he's like a writer, and he's pitching different movie ideas to a producer, which I think that's Greg Kinnear. And then it's like that one culminates with like Greg Kinnear he keeps rejecting the ideas, and then eventually like Dennis Quaid, there's something about him, he pulls a gun on him and forces him to listen to other stories. I just kind of like skimmed the Wikipedia. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, Will Sasso is in it. Seth MacFarlane, Common. Yeah, I didn't see Common at all in this. I saw his name show up. It sounds way better than the one with the kids, I'll say that. The kids are annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
splitting hairs with what's annoying with this movie, though.
Yeah. Well, before we started recording, you were watching the lost daughter or whatever, Find Our Daughter, which is one of the deleted scenes. And there's another one with Anton Yelchin called The Apprentice. And
yes, I was reading about that one.
That one was cut for being too raunchy, surprisingly. Like, I watched it and I was like, I mean, yeah, it's like, it's gross.
Oh, is it out there somewhere?
Yeah, I found it on like archive.org or whatever. There's something like that.
Of course.
And it was funny, like, as I was Googling them, I was like, because the Find Our Daughter one was pretty easy to find because it's just on YouTube. But the other one, I had to do a little bit of digging. And the whole time before I watched the Find Our Daughter one, I was like, why am I watching this? It's going to be more of the same. It's going to be no different. And then I watched it and I was like, yep. And then I was like doing all this digging to find the Anton Yelchin one. And I was like, no, it's going to be the same thing. And yeah, it was. And then I was like, I want to find the Frame story with Dennis Quaid and Greg Kinnear. But that one really, I couldn't fucking find that one anywhere. I couldn't find anything. I found like a 1-minute clip on YouTube that was filmed like on a camera filming the TV, and it's posted by the channel Movie 43 Clips. And this is the only video on their channel.
Maybe they had the same thought process that you did, where they're like, I'm going to game the algorithm. I'm going to make a clips channel for this movie, and I'm going to like get the YouTube bag. And then they uploaded one clip, and they're like, what am I doing? It's just going to be more of the same. And then they just stopped uploading videos.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe if I like find the Blu-ray somewhere out there at like at the used shop, I'll grab it and see what happens.
You think it's got to be somewhere? It's weird that it's so hard to find.
The thing is, though, with like the emphasis on like physical media lately that people have been on, I bet like the Blu-ray of Movie 43 is like considered a rarity now, and I bet it's like expensive. I bet it's like $20 if you find it somewhere, which is so annoying because this movie is not worth that much at all.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Which is worse, and I think I know the answer to this. This or inappropriate comedy. Inappropriate comedy is infinitely worse, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, 100%. There was because like both of them have the same issue, like core issue. Well, I don't know if it's like the core issue for both, but the core issue for this one is that I alluded to earlier, where it's like every skit is like there's one joke. It's like, okay, so this one's gonna be like the on a Ferris, she wants him to poop on her chest or whatever. Okay, that's dirty, that's raunchy, whatever. And then let's make something that's like that's like one joke. But then we're gonna stretch it out to the entire skit, and there's like nothing else. They don't change anything up. It's just the joke, and it just keeps going and it keeps going, and it's the same fucking thing in inappropriate comedy. But inappropriate comedy, the skits go on so much longer. I sort of fucking God, some of those amazing racist
inappropriate
skits.
Comedy, there were only like 5 skits total.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, at least
if
you
count all of the amazing racist ones as one.
Yeah. And some of those single amazing racist skits would go on for like 20 minutes. Those were fucking insufferable. There was nothing in this was as bad as like Ari Shaffir just like being a bigot at people. And it's not even like, I mean, it's one thing, like that it's like racist and like all the stuff that he was being in that movie. But it's just not funny. It's like almost worse than like the bigotry. It's so fucking
It's aggressively
annoying.
unfunny.
Yeah. And this was just like unfunny. There were some bits where I was kind of feeling like, okay, this is getting a bit much, but it wasn't.
It's like Flirty Harry, where it's like, go ahead, make me gay is a good one-liner for a parody of Dirty Harry, but like that's it. It's like a 10-second video.
Yeah,
that's it. That's funny, yes, but it's like it's not worth like delving into. And I will say, I think with some of these, the central like conceit can be funny.
Yes, yeah.
The one with Kieran Culkin and Emma Stone. Like the idea. I'm
stepping back from this. I was agreeing with you. I'm stepping back. We'll go with it.
I think the idea of like two people having like
an argument conversation,
like the idea that they're like, you know, at like an open microphone, like not like an open mic, but a microphone is open, and they're like saying it throughout the store and everyone can hear it. Like I think that's like kind of a funny baseline idea for a sketch, but then it with all of these, it just goes and goes and goes and it doesn't know when to end. It's like we were talking about SNL last week with Eddie Murphy and like how SNL has like warped his brain. These all feel like if they had been like minute to 2 minute long like sketches on SNL, they would be like, fun. It's like, I remember that one. That was kind of funny. And then you watch it again and you don't really laugh, but you're like, it was kind of funny.
Yeah. That one in particular, that was one of the worst ones for me though, just because like I found their dialogue to be so hard to listen to. It was so like weird, just their whole conversation, and like it was they're being dirty, but it was weird how serious they were being. I don't know. There was just something about that one.
Well, they're both Academy Award winners.
I wrote that. It was funny. He showed up, and I was like, he started talking. I was like, oh, that's funny. I was like, I wonder how many like Academy Award winners are in this movie. And then she popped up in that scene. I was like, oh, there's another one.
Yeah, that one in particular felt like one of those, you know, I know you're gay improv type conversations where like the things that they were saying back and forth to each other were just like, you know, they just had different takes and they were escalations of like, oh, I'm going to try to out raunchy you. So, you know, it's like, I want you to finger my butt. And she's just like, I'm already fingering my butt. You know, it's just like they just go back and forth with just stupid shit.
You look pale.
You look pregnant.
You look like you slept in a soup kitchen urinal.
You look like you bathed in a dumpster behind the abortion clinic.
You look like the kid who got cancer for Christmas.
You look like the slutty one on the Golden Girls.
Dorothy.
Blanche.
I think that's where it was like the worst, is when it felt the most like that, which was there, and then like the Batman one where he was literally doing like, it was like Jason Sudeikis' Batman, like under the table staring at Supergirl's bush, and he's just like, oh, it looks like this thing. Oh, it looks like a cornfield. Oh, it looks like this. And now I'm saying it looks like this, and it's just, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm like
to
screaming
the point where
at it.
even in the credits of the movie, they did like a blooper reel, gag reel, and like there was more. I think even Kristen Bell was like, yeah, his finger's been in my pussy for the last 6 minutes. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, very funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It
John
it feels
Hodgman
weird,
was
like,
in that.
yeah, John Hodgman was in it, yeah. Playing classic Penguin, I like that. There were some bits where it was like, this would almost be better, but if if they had more than one joke per skit, but also like every fucking skit had something like sexual or something like that. And it's like, it got so fucking old, like so quickly, where it's like, it's not like it's not like raunchy or like dirty or anything. It's just old. It's like, just fucking talk about something else. Where like, I think in the end, I was like, I like 2.5 skits. And I say half because the one was the first one or my half was the first one with Hugh Jackman and Kate Winslet. I was like, that one's kind of worked. I liked the thing of like, the joke isn't, I mean, the joke is that he has like testicles on his neck, but it's like, the comedy lies not in saying, oh, I got balls on my neck. Oh, look at these. It looks like a punching bag. Oh, it looks like it looks like I got a turkey gobbler on my neck or something like that. You know, it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to keep referencing this thing. The comedy lies in the awkwardness of her trying to.
It's a social faux pas to mention them.
Yes. And I was like, that one kind of worked for me. And then like, it worked a little less for me once every other skit was about something sexual. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
We're like, okay, okay, that one is too, because it's about the balls. But like, when I first watched it, I was like, that one was kind of good. That one was all right. And then it's actually the first two, because then the next one is probably my favorite one in the whole thing. The only one that I was like, that's actually like, I would maybe watch that one again, was the homeschooling one with Liev Schreiber and Naomi Watts. It was there was some like really awkward like the thing where like she's talking about like showing him or like giving him his first kiss, and it's with her. It was like, that was good though. That was like good awkward, like
they're like they again, that's like one where the conceit, there's like the nugget of the idea is like somewhat clever. Like what do we have? We have a kid who's homeschooled. Well, we want this kid to experience what every other kid experiences in high school. Like, we need him to be a socially like well-adjusted person, and since he can't socialize with people his own age like in high school, we have to give him those experiences. And the joke is that it's like positive and negative experiences. So like I didn't laugh out loud a lot during this, but when they like turn the corner and they're like pretending to be bullies, and they call him a certain word, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And like the way that Liev Schreiber goes like like he does that thing where, like they're basically they're like mean high school bullies.
You dropped your books, fuckface.
Dad, what the fuck? Whoa, you've got weird cues.
This is kind of funny. Again, very like hyper sexual, like a lot of like hitting him in the nuts with the dodgeball type thing, or like,
that,
you know.
See, I think that like stuff like that in that one, it's like, I guess at least in like a lot of the like those things, like that's sure. I mean, like it's his dick, but it's like that's like a thing in like school. Yeah, people getting hit in the nuts. It's not like or like the first kiss thing. It's like there is that awkwardness with like the incest and stuff, but like it works for like what the skit is about. It's not just like random scenario penis. It's like structured around like high school, and there's a lot of like, you know, sexual awkwardness in high school. So that's like, it kind of works into it. So I think that's why that one, like, it didn't bother me as much. I would say like if it was shortened up a little bit, it was like just slightly starting to run long, but like that one was like pretty solid. And like, I think it also was just like the like full like commitment from them, like just the I mean, like all three of them really. Like it was fun. Like Jeremy Allen White is a little like baby in there, which oddly enough I saw on I think the Wikipedia that Naomi Watts and Halle Berry were got like a Razzie nomination for this, and I wanted to be like, why did they pick those two from this movie? Like what I want to know what their logic was for like those two, because maybe that's because that was my favorite skit, but I feel like they were probably the best performances in the movie.
Yeah, like Naomi Watts and Halle Berry are like, I mean, Kate Winslet too, but they're all like, you know, pretty well established actresses. I mean,
like, all of them are, but like I could see like worse performances in the movie than Naomi Watts and like Leah Schreiber.
Exactly.
And,
like you could almost say that like Naomi Watts has like she plays a bunch of different characters in that sketch that are like pretty good. Like she plays the party girl that's like, sorry, you're not invited, and like that girl that you have a crush on, she's a little busy right now, and it cuts to Liev Schreiber just like partying on top. It's like that's his mom. He's like, and I did like when he's like, Mom, can I just come in, Mom, please? And she just like slowly shuts the door on him.
Yeah.
I will say I did laugh out loud at one of these, and it wasn't, I guess you could say it was like slightly ironic. I think the whole experience of watching this is like ironic because it's not a good movie, but
okay. I wonder if it's the same, because I do have one more that I liked, so I want to see if it's the same one.
I don't particularly love the sketch itself. But we've been watching a lot of Parks and Rec lately, and so like I've been seeing a lot of Chris Pratt as Andy. And I think at that time period, Chris Pratt was very good at doing like sort of schlubby guy, like action violence. Like there are like a number of scenes in 30 Rock that are hilarious because he runs and jumps face first into the pit, or he's like, all right, I gotta go, and then he'll like wing himself over a countertop and fall, and just he's a chaotic dude. But I shit you not, when he is chasing
Anna Faris
out of the house, and he gets hit
that was
by the car.
I think that made me laugh too. Yeah.
It's like they must have like padded his pants with like shit squibs or however they did it. But as soon as he hits the car, he rolls over the hood of the car and diarrhea explodes on the windshield, and he rolls off the car. I was laughing mostly because I was just like, holy shit, that just happened.
Yeah.
But also I was like, okay, damn, it got me. Like this movie that I've heard is like one of the worst of all time. It got me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
just because it was like the intersection of violence and physical comedy and like Chris Pratt.
No, that was good too. That's one that I don't think of as like a good skit, because that was really guilty of the just like single joke stretched way too thin.
Yeah.
But that payoff was better than most, because most of these skits including including like the maybe both of the ones I just mentioned. Definitely the one with Hugh Jackman and Kate Winslet. They just like they have non-endings, which makes it like all the worse. That it's like, okay, you're not really doing anything with the jokes, but also there's just the skits there's no like arc. And I get that it's just sketch comedy, but it's like you got to have some ending. And it's like for instance, the one with Kate Winslet and him, it just kind of ends. They're on the date. You never like find out what's going on with him. You never find out, like, there's no payoff. There's no nothing. And at least that one, that is like the payoff. You get like he's got the shit building up and yeah, so that was good.
A little detail that at the end of that skit, it's like a crane shot of them sitting in the road, like embracing each other.
Mm-hmm.
I was like watching it, and his like shit puddle does expand, like if someone gets shot in the head in a movie, and they're like laying face down, and like you see the blood start to pool. When Chris Pratt is sitting there holding her, his shit puddle is like slowly expanding out underneath him, which I thought was like, it's good detail.
Yeah. Okay.
Really dramatic.
So the other one that I actually thought was good, but again, well, I don't know. This is like a little less so, but I still liked it. But again, could have been way shorter. The joke was made. But it was the I guess second to last, because there was one in the credits too. But the last one in like the main movie with Terrence Howard doing like the inspirational speech to his team, and like the whole conceit is that like like that was another one where just like his performance really helped, because he was just like so into like just doing the inspirational like coach speech thing, and it just boils down to they're gonna win because they're black and the other team is white. I'm like, okay, that's good. I like that. Doesn't need to be as long as it was, but that's a good joke. And it wasn't sexual. It was something that, maybe that was it too. That it helped that it wasn't around sex stuff.
There was there is reference to just like, how big is your dick? He's like, a foot and a half. And it's like, oh yeah, black guys got big dicks. Okay, I get it. But I guess that was like secondary to like the central joke, which is they're like stereotypes. They're like, he's like, I think I understand what he's trying to say. He's saying that if we believe in ourselves, and he's like, no. Again, sort of feels like an SNL sketch a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they would tone it down.
Right.
Probably wouldn't have a bunch of white dudes come in and like basically scream the 1960s term for black people. I don't know.
The key word is teamwork. No, the key word is you're black, they're white.
So Coach, what you saying is if we just walk with the Lord...
The Lord done did his part already. He made you black. He made them white. He gave you a foot and a half dick. Dribble with that motherfucker.
Oh, man, I forgot, because it was like, it was so different. There weren't any like celebrities in it, and it was just like, it was short and everything. But actually, maybe there was one more that I liked. Maybe my favorite was the Kids and Machines one. Just, I'm like, oh, that's such a, like, that's a thing that like, like, and I get the idea that like, I don't know if I'd say that like I'd ever had it, but like, it's like I don't know, you've just like heard that before, like maybe like,
you're like, is there someone in there that's pushing all the money through the ATM?
And I love like making a skit out of that idea, and then it's just like the ending like tagline, it was just like, machines, there's kids in them, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Nothing sexual about it. It's just like a minute long. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah.
No fat. It's just okay. Cool.
Yeah, you see that shot of like the window of the ATM like casting light on their faces, and just like a single tear.
And they like handing the bills out. Yeah.
Or like feeding the paper through, and the guy's just like, and he's like slapping the side of the machine.
Yeah.
That one's pretty good. And it's because there was no celebrities in it, and it wasn't about dicks and balls and shit and cum or whatever.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is the worst one?
The worst
the
one.
Most irredeemable one.
I wish there were just like a short, just like lists like one after another.
Instead of having to scroll through them all.
Yeah. So I like The Catch, Homeschooled, Transition's okay, Veronica.
That's Kieran
Culkin.
Culkin.
That's that one. That was good. Do you have one? You could, because I'm still looking. Middle school. That one was
I think it is, but it's either the Leprechaun one, or the Period one, directed by Elizabeth Banks. Oh, what are you doing?
Yeah,
because I was like, dude, Chloe Grace Moretz is like a child in that one, and that felt incredibly weird.
Yeah.
And I thought the whole joke was like pretty painfully unfunny.
The whole what?
Where they're just the it's like, oh, she's on her period, and like they're all just like freaking out.
Yeah.
And then McLovin is there. Like, I don't know. I think that's the most like stone-faced I sat during like any of these. I might have smiled a couple times in some of them, but I think the middle school date one is the one that I disliked the most.
That could be. That's one of them I was thinking. I really didn't like the Kieran Culkin Emma Stone one. That one could maybe be my least favorite one. Yeah, it's fun. I'm looking at it. I'm like the structure is kind of like the first two were solid. The third one was like eh. And then it's like the middle is just, other than the Kids and Machine one, it's like the middle chunk is just like, it's like after the pooping on chest one, it's just like terrible, 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 terrible Machine Kids, terrible, a little less terrible, a little less terrible, and then the Terrence Howard one. So yeah, it's like the middle chunk as a whole is just like the worst. It could be that middle school one, because that did feel, it felt like the most the least effort in like in like all areas, because it was just like, oh, she's on her period, we're gonna scream around and like it like you said, like it's just the joke was that McLovin is there. Because what was the point of him being there? Like, he showed up and said something funny, like, I'm watching you guys. I'm going to say something dirty here because I'm the older brother.
Yeah.
And then she finds out that she's on her period, and then he's just, like, running around in the background, like, grabbing...
I got a sponge. I got some scissors.
Yeah. And then it'd go back to, like, Patrick Warburton talking to his son, and... Then, like, 30 seconds later, he'd be like, now I have this thing. And that was, like, his
Is this a Swiffer? Will this work?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I didn't like this superhero speed dating, because it had the ad-libbing, riffing stuff, not funny, and just dumb.
I think that's the common denominator for a lot of these. If it's mostly just like people like riffing, and if it's like dialogue based, it's snooze. Give me Hugh Jackman with nuts on his neck. Give me shit squibs, or give me death. Like, I need something. It can't just be riffing the entire time, because the riffs aren't good.
Yeah. Maybe that's kind of what the Emma Stone Kieran Culkin felt. It just felt like they were just kind of riffing off each other, and I was not into it. And then before you asked that, I was going to mention the iBabe one specifically too, as like a good example of just like the crutch of crude humor, where it's like we don't have anything, so just like
naked lady.
Yeah, there's a naked lady, and now say vulgar things. And there's a part, I can't remember what they're saying, but they're like, because there's Kate Bosworth, she's like the one woman in like the executive room, and she's like, oh, it's happening because they're trying to fuck the iBabes, and they're like, oh, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, okay, we got to think of something, we got to think of some new idea, some new way to do this. And it's just like, it's like Richard Gere, Jack McBrayer, and there's another guy. Oh, Asif Manvi, I think, was also in that one too.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it just like cuts back and forth between them, just going like, they're saying they keep just saying like penis or like pussy or something.
Do they say
just
vagina over and over again?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, and just like, it's like 20 seconds just back and forth. They're just like, oh, vagina. And like, that's the comedy, is just they're saying the bad words, I guess.
Here's how you punch this up, is you keep Richard Gere in this, but then you say that like we have to change the USB port and it has to be on the other side. And then Richard Gere is like, oh, I like where this is going. And then it's a joke about Richard Gere putting gerbils in his ass.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You don't tell him until you shot most of the sketch. You film all of his reaction shots. You film him saying like, oh, I love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then after he's done for the day, you reshoot a majority of it so it looks like he's endorsing eye gerbil or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he sues you.
Apparently he I think some of the other ones, but apparently it mentioned him specifically, like tried to back out of like working on the movie.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah. Did you see the budget for it, by the way?
No, is it massive?
No. It was $6 million. Which
someone has blackmail on these people.
Is a lot of money, but it's like, but I mean, considering, I don't know, like, I feel like there's not many movies.
It as a favor?
It's, again, I just did Wikipedia research, but, there was this producer, one of the producers was like, this was like his brainchild, and I guess he had been like trying to get this made for years, so this was just his baby, I guess. And I don't know, producers have so much sway in Hollywood, so I'm sure he could probably just like pull favors, and it sounds, I don't know if this was the case for everybody, but there's a quote that said like, what agents want to book their big client in a no-pay $800 a day 2-day shoot? And I'm like, okay, $800 a day is a lot for me, but that's fucking crazy if like thinking that some of the people in this movie were working for $800 a day. That's like, that's like almost foreseeable, like for something that you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know what job I could have where I would make that much money in a day, but it's like, it's weird seeing that like closer to something like what I make, like pay wise or whatever.
Yeah. It's almost like something that like could be attainable for us.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm saying.
There's a world in which like, oh yeah, maybe one day like we could land a gig where we're like making $800 a day.
Yeah, exactly.
It says more about that celebrity working for $800 a day than it does about like us working for $800 a day.
Yeah.
Where it's either like, man, your career is taking a real dive and you're taking on these gigs, or you owe a favor, or someone has blackmail on you. Like
But that's the
these
thing.
These are all like on the flight logs.
Yeah,
everybody in this.
That could be the key. But no, that's the thing is, I mean, a lot of these people are still very famous and relevant.
Yeah.
But even like the ones that aren't as much now, like like Christopher Mintz-Plasse or Sean William Scott or Anna Faris. Like, they're not as big now as they were then. But like when this came out, I feel like this was like the height of a lot of theirs like popularity, you know, or near it. So it's not like there weren't any that were just kind of like washed up at this point. I mean, I don't even want to say that these guys were like washed up, but I mean, like, yeah, it wasn't like any of them were, what are they doing here? They're has-beens. They were all like kind of, you know, up and coming or
established.
You know, yeah. And I guess he shot the Kate Winslet Hugh Jackman one first. And then used that to pitch it to other people. And I think that's kind of what happened too. So it was kind of like, hey, I got this movie that, you know, you just got to come on for like a couple days. And guess what? Kate Winslet and Hugh Jackman are in it. Isn't that cool? You can be in a movie with those guys. And then it's like, okay, now he's got the one with like Liev Schreiber and Naomi Watts. And then he can be like, hey, you want to be in this movie that Hugh Jackman, Kate Winslet, Naomi Watts, and Liev Schreiber are in? Cool. And then the next one, all right, you want to be in this one that these guys and Richard Gere in?
I'm putting together a team.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, maybe he pitched it as like, hey, have you always wanted to do comedy and you're tired of doing like serious roles? Well, here you can like let loose and like try it, you know, be something else, be a different character for once.
I think that was part of it too.
Like, some of these guys, you know, Justin Long, Jason Sudeikis, John Hodgman, some of these guys have like comedic backgrounds like Jack McBrayer, Asif Mandi.
Oh, but yeah.
But yeah, I do think that's part of it though, is you're like Kate Winslet and Hugh Jackman are in this. Like, how do they agree to that?
Yeah.
Maybe it's worth checking out, I guess.
Yeah. And I will say, for all the disgusting, raunchy sex stuff in the movie, the most grossed out I was to where I was actually like almost gagging was Elizabeth Banks getting covered in the spray, the cat spray. 'Cause I don't know if you've had cats that spray, but it is fucking foul. It's awful. And I just like thinking, and like I've had to clean it up before. It's like different than pee. So it's like more like oily slick, so it sticks. And I was just like picturing that. And also that they did a kind of good job of like the
getting the consistency
effects. Yeah, that one really got me.
Yeah, never dealt with that, thank God.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's far worse than just pee.
Good job, James Gunn.
Yeah, I guess leave it to him to like know how to nail the like gross out stuff.
The other one, I guess the other sort of punchline that I liked, or that I thought was like somewhat clever, even though it was a racist joke, was the Truth or Dare one with Halle Berry. Where they were like, it was like, again, it was like kind of clever, where it was like, let's skip the small talk. Let's just really get to know each other. Truth or dare. And then it just like escalates into just like, she's getting plastic surgery, he's getting a dick tattoo on his face, et cetera, et cetera. But then they do that thing where they're like, we have to incorporate someone who is currently like, I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah. And it was Snooki.
Yeah.
This is like disaster movie, and like those movies, like shoehorning in like Paris Hilton or like whoever the celebrity du jour is. Yeah. And as soon as I saw Snooki, I was like, I know what you're doing, because Jersey Shore was popular at the time, so we gotta have our Snooki moment. But at the end, it was funny to me in the way that like Come Town is funny to me. No, although I don't know if this was like that, But like at the end, when like you kind of see the final result of their escalating truth and dare, like Halle Berry has big, huge fake tits and like Botox to hell, and her date is just like Chinese now.
Yeah,
and the punchline is like they do all of this shit together, and then like he's finally like ready to seal the deal, and then she's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not into Asian guys."
Yeah,
and like
but that was I would agree. That is kind of a good punchline. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's kind of clever." Like he like we got facial reconstruction surgery for her.
Yeah.
And then like that's the one thing that she's just like, "Oh yeah, sorry." But then I feel like they undercut that where she's like, "I'm just kidding," and then she whips out like the big fake prosthetic boobs.
Yes.
And I was like, "No. You need to stick with your first punchline."
100%.
Like, I think that's better. But they're like, "No. Sex is funny." So
yeah, I think it's like
the fake tits.
Sex is funny, and the movie is too. I think this movie, like for as dirty and whatever it's trying to be, I think it's scared to like. It's still like a comedy, and it's still like, well, we got to make the audience feel good, so like they don't want to have like a sad ending or whatever. I think that could be it, but no, I think that would have been so much better if she just like shut him out, and it's like, okay, they just like have irreparably like destroyed themselves physically for nothing. Basically. At least, I mean, they still did, but I guess at least they got to bang each other. So that's something out of it. No, that was when I was like scrolling through, and I was like, okay, terrible. That was the one where I was like a little less terrible, because that one was like, that one was all right. Yeah. Is there anything to say about the frame story with the kids? I don't know. I will say it's the most like that, and I guess knowing that was like a backup version, that wasn't the one that they actually made for like the US release, like makes sense because it feels way cheaper than the rest of the movie. Like when it starts and it's like the YouTube video thing, which is like it starts with like the most like early 2010s, like, because having like YouTube PTSD of like that kid's like shitty haircut, like the like long, I mean, Jesus, I'm starting to get it now. I really need to cut my hair, but you know, like the like skinnier, taller kid. And then they're like, "Oh, let's see how many hits we got." And then, "Oh my God,
we got a view, dude.
Yeah, we're going viral."
Yeah.
Although I will say I did have a moment of like, I guess solidarity with them when they were like, "Oh, we already got a view," and then they're like, "Oh, that's probably us from watching it just now," and I was like, "Yeah, I feel that."
Yeah, been there.
And then it literally like it starts, and I was thinking ahead of time, I was like, okay, this is very like inappropriate comedy. But then that like the frame narrative is like, "Oh, let's get onto our computer and find this video," and then boo, and I'm like, "Oh, it's literally inappropriate comedy." It's like the same exact like, instead of a tablet, it's a computer, but it's the same idea.
Yeah, and I thought the jokes were annoying and lame. Just like, how do we get viruses on his computer? Pornography. Oh, I'm gonna go type boobs and get a virus, and I don't know. I thought it was very annoying and weak. I didn't think it was. I thought it was.
It definitely felt like an afterthought. Yeah.
That's. I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. Yeah. Okay. I can start us off for the judgment. It's a dud. I mean, I try to go like, you know, with most of the time with dud movies, we go with like, well, it's a spud if it's ironic enjoyment. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I feel like maybe you can give it. Well, no, if it's like actually good, then we move it up to like the actual scale or whatever. I guess that's what we normally do. Yeah. And like I said, there's some skits that were like good, you know, or decent. It's like I hesitate to even say that they were like good because I still had issues with them. And it could just be like they sit prettier in my mind because they're surrounded by garbage, you know, like they're made better by their surroundings. But the majority of the movie was not good to awful.
Yeah.
And some of it was very, very bad, like very like hard to get through. Yeah, I would, the Kieran Culkin one, Babe, probably that middle school date. Those are probably the worst ones. And maybe the superhero speed dating one. Like those ones are especially like really, really rough to get through. And then you got like a few more that were pretty hard to get through, but not quite as hard to get through. And then you had a couple that were like, okay, yeah, that you're getting somewhere with that. I'm like, does that constitute this being like one of the worst movies of all time? I don't know, because there's some bits and some elements that like I kind of liked.
Yeah.
But the bad stuff was really bad too. So I don't know. I don't think I would put it on that, like, you know, one of the worst movies of all time necessarily, but I wouldn't begrudge anybody else doing that. And I'm not saying that it should be, you know, if it's not, it's just like, it's just off that list, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm right there. I can't call it a spud. It is a dud. There's like what I'll say is like the two or three that we referenced that we kind of enjoyed or thought were clever a little bit. Just go find those on YouTube and watch those. Someone has probably posted them as their own segment, which, like, if we're honestly, these should just be funny or die segments. Really, like making it a movie is like a bizarre choice. Yeah, the ones that I thought were at least like funny or clever or had some sort of conceit that I thought was like funny. The Hugh Jackman one I thought was like kind of funny. Dude, when he like leans over and like dips his balls in the butter. Cause like as soon as he like got the soup and I'm like, he's dipping his nuts in those in that soup. Like there's no way around it. So that one's good. Chris Pratt exploding diarrhea is kind of fun. I guess the inspiring coach one was pretty good insofar as like it was like different and non-sexual like all the other ones. Yeah, the reputation that this movie has as like one of the worst of all time, I think I would push back on that a little bit. I would give it to inappropriate comedy because that movie is like
over this for sure. Yeah,
irredeemable in like every respect, and it's not even like I guess like maybe like you know, thinking of like Punching Down. This movie 43 does not feel like it's like we're taking any sort of aim at like a race or a gender or a sexuality or anything like that. Like it feels much more like lighthearted compared. It's like it's more like weird and like absurd than like something like inappropriate comedy where it's just like, I'm gonna go to a place with predominantly X ethnicity and be like a stereotype against that ethnicity and like isn't that hilarious? You know, and it's like, no, it's not. This at least sort of like revels in the absurdity more than that does. And I think what does differentiate this movie out a little bit from maybe other things of the day is that at the very least the sketch ideas are like somewhat original. They're not great, but it's not like, hey, you remember the 40-Year-Old Virgin? Or, you know, again, we always reference like epic movie, disaster, like disaster movie. And it's like all of those movies are just like, hey, look, everybody, Edward Cullen is here. And it's just like some guy who's like sparkly. And he's just like, I'm sparkling, and it's like, that's it. That's the joke. This at least didn't have, like, they inserted Snooki. Okay, whatever. That's as close as they get to that. But otherwise, I mean, it's just crude, crass humor that hits, that misses more than it hits. So, worst of all time, I don't think I could put it on that list, but it's not great. Like, look up the ones on YouTube that we referenced that are kind of clever, and then ignore the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a dud.
It's funny you said Funny or Die specifically, because that was also on the Wikipedia page that like a quote from one of the directors. He said, "It's like Funny or Die, only if you could go crazy, because with Funny or Die there are certain limits, and we just wanted to do that kind of short and go much further with that." But I think by go much further, he just meant,
what are the limits?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just meant go further, meaning make them longer until they're no longer funny.
Yeah.
That's what he meant by go
further.
further.
You know the thing you like about Funny or Die? We're going to make it worse.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Yeah. Okay. So we have both now seen the newest Bong Joon-ho movie, Mickey 17. I don't know. I feel like I'm like leading into like another like main movie discussion. I don't know why. I liked it.
It's the story. Yeah. I liked it enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I said that it's his 8th movie, I believe. I keep thinking he has like one more, but I think it's his 8th movie. So it's in the bottom half, but it's still like a good bottom half, it's not. Yeah, I don't really know where I'd put it. And there's one I have to see. I've only seen Mother once, so I got to see that one again. But it's definitely. But my top 4, I'm like, I can't see. My top 4 is really. That's the thing, is he has like 4 movies that I love. They're like 9 or 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then the other ones, I think the other 4 I have all at like 7 out of 10.
Interesting.
So they're all like fairly even. But again, I need to watch Mother again. I do think that one could go up again. That one feels, it's definitely different than like this or Snowpiercer, which I have at the same level or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is definitely feels very Snowpiercer-y too.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, I haven't seen Mother and I haven't seen Okja. But yeah, I do not see Mickey 17 unseating like Parasite or Memories of Murder or The Host.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's my upper is like,
maybe Barking Dogs is up there only because I've seen it and I remember liking it.
Yeah. I like, again, I like all of his movies. Yeah.
I think a few reviews that I saw of this that I thought were interesting and fairly accurate, and I think Bong himself rejects this, but I saw some reviews that were like, Bong Joon-ho definitely did not think that Donald Trump was going to win the election. And I think some people are like, yeah, this is like supposed to be like a victory lap of just like, yeah, remember how dumb that guy is? Because like Mark Ruffalo's character 100% based his entire bit
100%
on like Trump, to the point where like every line, like you could even look at Mark Ruffalo's mouth and he was like
kind of doing that.
He was he's doing that. Which, at first I was like, oh, this is a little too on the nose. But based on how the last few weeks have gone, I don't think it's on the nose anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's like, wow, what a crazy, like wacky interpretation of events that are happening. No, I think it's actually pretty damn accurate now.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest guy of all time.
Yeah.
I thought the look of the movie was great. I thought like all the I'm assuming it's mostly physical sets. It could have been CGI. I really couldn't tell. And like the CGI, like I thought the creatures all looked pretty good for the most part. If they did use CGI for sets, I thought those looked really like realistic and lived in. Like it all felt. I think someone said that it looked like Soviet era. Like the sort of like
I think that's
grimy
the idea.
Soviet era machinery on like these spaceships or whatever.
Yeah,
and I did like the aesthetic of that.
Yeah, I always love the look and style. I mean, that's why like he's what I say was like my favorite like current like working director is because just no matter the movie, just like visually, the look, the camera work is just I love it every time. So I really have like no complaints in any of that regard. And I saw that it was the same. So like him and another guy designed the creatures, and it was the same guy that did the one for Okja. I'm not sure if it was the host, but he does kind of have like all of the monsters or creatures that he makes in his like more sci-fi movies all kind of feel like they're part of the same world. Like I could see these, even though these are technically aliens, they're not on Earth, but they do kind of like you see like a Guillermo del Toro movie, and like all of the creatures that he makes in that have the same kind of like style to them. Like these guys kind of feel like Okja, and they kind of feel like the host.
Yeah, they're like sort of like pillbug round-ish, but like also like pig-ish, because I know Okja's like a pig. They're all very like rotund characters with like bellies almost. You know?
Yeah. No, being more familiar with him and like knowing his body of work, it's not as surprising to me, but it's just kind of fun seeing that like this is what he's following up, you know, a groundbreaking like Oscar winning like like first like foreign film to win Best Picture, all the other stuff that it won, just like and going into something like weird like this, I'm like, that is very him. But I feel like there's a lot of people, a lot of like Americans who kind of like keyed onto him after Parasite, and then like, what the fuck is this?
And and it's like I don't know, Parasite had its funny moments, but for the most part I would say is like a drama, I guess. Suspense thriller drama, because like there are moments of like you know, violence, or you know, that God, I still think about that shot of the little boy coming down into the fridge and seeing the dude that lives under the house. Oh, that's like such a haunting image from that movie. But maybe people aren't quite accustomed to the fact that Bong Joon-ho was like funny. Or like I don't know, maybe they're thinking it was gonna be like,
if they've just seen Parasite, maybe that's maybe like I said, there are comedic moments, but that might be his most like serious movie, because even in Memories of Murder, which is about like a real like serial killer, there's so much that movie's so funny. There's so much like good comedy in that movie. Or The Host, I think of the part where they're like in that like relief shelter, like crying because like they think that the daughter is dead, and then there's like the guy in the hazmat suit comes by and he just like pratfalls for like no reason, so he'll just like throw like comedy into his movies. And I love the way that he blends the like comedy into the more serious stuff.
But then again, like I don't think this movie was necessarily like billed as a drama. I think it was.
No, I don't think so. No.
I thought Robert Pattinson was pretty damn good in this, like playing the different Mickeys. He's doing a funny little voice. And I, for some reason, I don't know why, I thought all the Mickeys were essentially the same, but I did like the idea that like one of them could just be like slightly different, whereas like, 17 is much more like pensive and kind of cautious. Mickey 18 is just like, what, that guy's leading us? That guy's an idiot. Who gives a shit what he thinks? Like, I'm going to shoot him with a gun.
Yeah.
Like, I did like the idea that all the Mickeys were like slight variations instead of just like, the same guy carbon copied every time.
No, I think the idea is that it was just 18 was different, because you get that there's like a quick bit where it shows them printing off 18, and then that one scientist like trips and like pulls out one of the tubes for a second, and then he plugs it back in. That's 18. So I think that's why he's different, is because of that little incident. So it's possible something like that happened before, and he is different from when he started. But
I thought there was like a voiceover line where like he's kind of talking about the different Mickeys, where he's like, oh, and 13 was like this, and like 14 was like
he does
that.
say that yeah, because he's talking about like how his girlfriend's like, oh, she said that he was a little more like temperamental or something like that, or that's right. So maybe,
but the idea that like they pulled something out of his head and then like that changed his neural chemistry and made him more like, alpha rizzed out or whatever.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that there would be like more multiples like on screen at a given time, where it's just like there's like 4 of them. I thought it was gonna be like there was like an army.
Oh,
like I was like, cool. Is it gonna be like a thing where he's just like, all right, well, we want to take down this like fascist, so I'm gonna print off like 50 of them.
Yeah, that could have been fun if it went like even farther with the concept. I liked I like the stuff with like, as soon as like the animals were brought into it and like it was made apparent that they were gonna be like a more central part of the story, that was like when I started to get worried. And then like when they just like confetti that one baby, I was like, oh man, like I knew, like, because he's not afraid to like do like fucked up shit with animals, but it's because he's like I think he's like vegetarian, or he's at least like environmentalist or whatever, because that's like a big theme. That's his thing, is it's either like his movies are about like economic like or and like class divide and or environmental stuff. Like that's like the host is all about that, and Okja is all about that. And you could argue that Snowpiercer's like both too, I guess.
Yeah. When the one got like shot up a bunch, Chloe definitely looked over at me and was like, why did we go see this? Like anytime a cute animal, anything like happens, she's just like, why did you make me watch this?
Yeah, that's how Chloe is too.
Yeah.
And then it made me like, but this is the thing that I feel like I've harped on about this before on the show, mainly like when we're talking about horror movies, because one of my big things with horror movies is that like a lot of the times they're too scared to, like, for instance, a big thing is like kill children. A lot of movies are too scared to kill children, but then the issue that I have with that is that you can't. I like to be invested and care about the stuff, or like be emotionally like, are they going to kill this thing? And when I watch one of his movies, I'm like, they might kill the other one. Like, because they have the baby that they're like holding on to for a while. Because then they like bring it out, and then Toni Collette immediately just cuts its tail off. And I'm like, okay, it's already like mutilated. So that's kind of like rough. Priming me for like, they're going to kill it. And then like, it's like hanging over the that like dumpster. Yeah, they hook it. And then they bring it out to the mom, the like matriarch or whatever, and it's like not moving. And I'm like, fuck, it's dead. Like the whole time I'm like, it's dead. They killed the baby. They killed it. And then it's like, okay, it made it. But I feel like if this was maybe a less interesting filmmaker, I'm not naming anyone in particular. I'm just saying, just like in general, just like a less, it would just be like, well, obviously it's going to be okay. They're not gonna, not gonna do anything.
We wouldn't go that far. But I mean, barking dogs never bite. He throws that dog off a parking garage.
That's funny. I don't feel it's like
funny. It's like
funny.
It's wild that I say that out loud, and I'm like, something is like awful and barbaric as throwing like an innocent dog off a parking garage. But then it's just like, I describe that scene to people and I'm like, and it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like only Bong Joon-ho can do something like that.
Yeah. Also, I like that, I liked and didn't like, because every time they called them creepers, I was like, oh.
Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft.
You got to do it
Minecraft.
like Jack Black and like all the Minecraft movie trailers where he's just like naming things in Minecraft, where he's like, creeper, chicken jockey.
That was something where I was like, okay, this is definitely written by somebody who does not speak English and wasn't like reviewed by somebody, because I feel like somebody along the lines would have been like, there's this thing called Minecraft, and like I'm sure they have that there already, but they're probably called something different,
It's like there's already an association with this that we might want to avoid.
Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I liked it just being its own weird thing. I'm all for Bong just kind of doing his own thing. I loved Robert Pattinson in this. Like it might be it. I don't know. He's got so many great roles. I don't know, but I really like seeing actors play like him playing the two different Mickeys playing off of each other. He's very like, man, I loved the scene where they're at the dinner with Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette, and they like poison his food without telling him. And like he's got so much like physicality to his performance. There's a shot where, I mean, I guess in this day and age they could like digitally place his face on it, because you would assume it would be a stunt double, but I'm pretty sure it was him, where it's like a tracking shot of him, like he like everybody's in the room like following him, and he's like holding his neck, like choking and like screaming, and then he like falls, he like steps back off the steps and like lands on an end table and like rolls off it and like slams onto the floor. I'm pretty sure that was him. So he was like going all out with this. And then I like the whole cast of characters. It felt like all of the random side characters, like the different doctors and such, that felt very Bong Joon-ho-y to me.
Yeah.
And then I think what really made it was the last like act, the last like 40 minutes, maybe hour as a whole, I was like super into. I think it was like the beginning, like there's like 15-20 minutes before you even get the title, and it's basically just exposition. It's just like voiceover. There's like not even much dialogue. That was where I was like that was like the least good part. And then like after that I was like, okay, I'm getting more, it's not just narration. You're kind of getting more into what's going on. And so it did definitely got better and better, like as it went, and which makes me think like if I watch it again, I feel like that maybe I'd like the whole thing. Just it's one of those,
now that you like kind of know like what it is on the whole. Now you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I enjoyed the beginning exposition dump for the most part. Like, I think Because like I'm trying to think, how many different Mickey deaths did we see? Oh my God, you have activated your cat. Like, oh.
Yeah, his eyes.
You got to add in like the Palpatine, like the the lightning.
Yeah.
Because I think we got like some allusions to like the various Mickey deaths, but seeing like some of the deaths from Mickey's 1 through 16, I think some of them were kind of tame. Where like, I don't know, the more physicality, like the more physically violent, the better it is for me. Like a big laugh for me was like when he's out there, like he's in his spacesuit outside the ship, like repairing something, and then he like basically learns that he wasn't out there for a reason other than like they keep tricking him into doing these like he's like, oh, I'm not out here to repair this, am I? And they're like, no. And then it's like he's being radiated essentially.
Yeah.
And like there's like a slowly spinning blade.
That's right. Yeah.
He like puts his hand up and the blade nicks it and his hand just floats away.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit. I was all in on. I was like, yes, give me all of the like insane like tests that they run. Like, not even like, how does his body respond to radiation? I guess they do kind of allude to that with like the crash test dummies where they just like throw him in a car and then, like, speed it at a wall and see what happens. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that game, The Swapper, where it's just like, you have to like solve the puzzle, and the puzzle solution is you have to expend 50 guys to figure it out.
Yeah. And then then it's like it's like they all had like souls or whatever. Because I think the conceit with the Swapper is that it's like, oh, they're just like mindless clones, but then you realize like they're not.
Like, no,
whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it always goes back to. Like even before I watched this, and it kind of played out this way in this. It always goes back to like The Prestige for me, where it's like where he's like, I always had to ask myself, was I the man going into the box or was I the man coming out of it? Like when he clones himself, 'cause it's like, and it does kind of play with that a little bit with like, he's like, okay, well now that Mickey 18 is different, it's like if I die, that's the end of me. I'm not coming back because that's not me anymore.
Yeah, because like if they scan him weekly, like 18 is like the 18 updated firmware, and it's just like now it won't matter if they pull that one cable out or not because it's going to
be even more different.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's wild.
Well, but then it makes you think of like how you're saying how he referenced like, some of the Mickeys were a little different. It's like, okay, so is 17 even what Mickey was originally like? Like he has the memories of him, obviously, but maybe he's like not even really the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like it's funny that like that's like the idea of his whole thing of being expendable. And like I knew that that's like what it was about and everything, but like I would get like so pissed at them like every time they would do that to him. Like, and I think that's the idea, that you're supposed to be like these like callous, like soulless scientists and political people just using this guy for like experiments, and like how they would just like lie to him to kill him. Or like, inviting him to that dinner to poison him. It's like, God damn it. It was so aggravating every time.
Anybody or anything.
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm not eating anything you serve me. I'm not drinking anything you serve me.
Yeah.
And I also loved that like every time like he gets like reprinted, like half the time someone just like didn't put a table for his body to print onto. Just this idea that this miracle technology exists that could essentially, provide immortality for everybody. Mm-hmm. And they treat it like it's the most annoying thing in the world to deal with.
Yeah.
Like he's essentially a human clone. And like they treat him like he's the bottom rung of society. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, oh, well, this is like the natural conclusion of this technology. where it's exploited by the ruling class to further their own goals. And it's like, awesome, perfect. There's that class consciousness you get from Bong Joon-ho.
Exactly.
It's not overtly stated, but it's like heavily implied because it's just like, yeah, the Mark Ruffalo character hates Mickey, thinks he's like the biggest piece of shit, thinks he's just like a waste of space. But it's like he's also an invaluable part of like expanding his empire.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the idea that like you can test out like that essentially ends animal testing. I mean, realistically, you have human guinea pigs that like, yeah, they keep sending them out on the planet without a helmet on to just breathe in the air, and they just keep like working on the vaccine until it's like safe for everybody to go out there. And it's like you can like increase the speed of like the vaccine creation insane because it's just like, okay, well, he's dead. Try again, print another one. And just the fact that like he's viewed as like one of the lowest rungs of society. It's just like, it's wild.
Yeah. And I think they even like use that like as an insult against him, that like he's not even like real human parts anymore because he's like recycled like meat
trash and like
trash. Yeah. It's like, well,
yeah, he's 3D printed.
That's how you made him. It's like not insulting and degrading him without acknowledging their own part and need for him or whatever. Yeah. And then I guess really quick, I want to shout out a thing that it's kind of like a lot of people are comparing it to Baby Reindeer. I'm comparing it to it as like a thing of like, maybe I didn't, but I feel like I kind of like, I watched it right as it was like right before or right on the cusp of it kind of blowing up, because I think it's kind of a bigger thing now. Have you heard of this Adolescence show on Netflix?
Yeah.
It was really good. It was great. It's a 4-episode miniseries that is about this kid that he's arrested on like accusations that for murder. He's like a 13-year-old kid. And each episode is like a different, so like the first one is like day 1, the second episode is day 3, third episode is 7 months later, and then the fourth one is 13 months later. And each episode is like, it's focused on a different thing. So the first one is the arrest and like his booking at the police station and whatever. And then the second one is some of the detectives at his school looking for a murder weapon. The third one is the kid talking with like a therapist. And the last one is like the family afterwards or whatever. But kind of the big sort of, I guess, like gimmick thing or whatever. It feels, I mean, like it technically is a gimmick, but it's like, it's not like a cheap gimmick. But it's each episode is one shot, and apparently they said there's no trickery. There's no like hidden cuts or anything. They're all like legitimate one take episodes.
That's crazy.
And I think the only person I recognized him is Stephen Graham. He's a British actor. You've probably seen him in stuff. And he was kind of why I watched it, because I really like him. But then I found out it was by this director that did a movie a couple years ago that I really liked called Boiling Point, which is a movie that's done in one take with Stephen Graham. I'm like, oh, that makes total sense.
Okay.
And they made a spin-off show of Boiling Point too, and I believe all those episodes are one shots too. And I kind of want to see that because it kind of continues that story. The movie ends with like a note where you could just end it there, but I did really like it. And it is really cool seeing like legitimate, like long one takes or one shots.
Does it like stay relatively in the same area, or does it like scene transition too?
No. Okay, yeah. So each episode is like in real time or whatever. It is like, but no, they move like the first episode. I think it starts with the two like lead detectives, and they're like in their car, and they like make a little bit of chit chat, and then like, okay, you ready to do this? Okay, and then they start driving, and then it's kind of cool because like it starts and the camera's like just on them, so you think it's just two cops like in their car, just like a normal, just kind of like on patrol. But then like when they start moving, the camera like moves around to like in front of them, and you see that there's like a long line of police cars behind them. And then they go in the house, the camera like follows them in the house, and they raid the house and arrest the kid. And then the camera goes in the car with them, it goes down to the police station. And then, yeah, you're kind of going all around the police station, following the different characters. The fourth episode was insane because it starts with the family at the house, and then they go to basically like a Home Depot. Yeah. And the camera like gets mounted, like I think on the front of the car, and they drive to the store. So they have like I don't know, maybe it's like 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back. And it's crazy thinking of like the timing, like especially the way back, because on the way back, when they go back home from the store, they have a phone call like on the car. Mm-hmm. And they timed it perfectly. Like the phone call ends like right when they get home. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, just like the choreography, the staging, insane. Like how well they like paced everything in the show and just like kept everything moving. There's no sense of like filling time or whatever, or like feeling like you're waiting for something. If it's
all in one take, like you have to keep that momentum going and keep people's interest, and there can be like no lulls, or else people will be like starting to look at their phones, you know?
Yeah. And there's like it's incredibly compelling. I really, really liked it. And it's not like you get an answer for who did the murder. But it's like, it's one of those where it's like, that's not like the thing. The show isn't like, it's not a murder mystery. It's more just kind of like, what's the fallout of this thing, of like something like this happening, of a kid getting arrested for murder, and like what that does to the family, and what that's like for like the community or whatever. And then just like for the kid themselves and stuff. And also just like there's maybe the last episode I was the most impressed, but it's also crazy to think of like from an acting standpoint, there are some like waves of emotion where like just the different tones are like, people will be like happy, they'll be like having like happy conversations, and then like by the end of the episode they're like breaking down in tears, like having full blown like emotional like waterfall moments. And it's just crazy how well these guys just like flow from emotion to emotion. It's just it's an acting like showcase for all these guys, including the kid who plays the son, who's like an actual kid. Amazing. One of the best like child performances I've ever seen. He is fucking fantastic. And the third episode is the most like single, like most of the other ones, it's like a bigger cast of characters and you'll kind of switch perspective. Like the beginning of the first episode, you follow the cops, but then it'll switch to like the kid and you follow the kid for a little bit. And then it'll switch to the parents and you'll follow them for a little bit. And then it'll go back to the cops and blah, blah, blah. But the third episode is literally, it's a psychiatrist talking to the kid. And there's like one part where she like goes to get a coffee. But other than that, the entire episode is in this one room with these two people talking. And so it's just on them, and it's really, really, really great. Like I will be extremely shocked if I see better acting in like anything this year, or you know, some of the best acting I've seen, probably like bar none. It's just insane, the level of like effort and you know, just work put into this. It's really, really impressive stuff. Really good. And really, yeah, we watched it in one sitting. I watched the first 2 episodes by myself, and then I was like, I think Clea will like this. So then the next day, I restarted it, and we watched the whole thing in one go.
Yeah, I am interested in seeing it. Like I've seen people like post about it, so I'm definitely. And it's only 4 episodes, so
yeah, it's like it's one of those that I think it's like a hot thing on Netflix now, but it's I think it's worth it, or it's earned it, because again, like you can't deny the like the skill of, you know, being able to pull off some of the like hour long, because each episode is like roughly an hour. It's like, you know, they're like 50-minute hour long episodes. So yeah, really cool stuff.
Hell yeah.
Oh, he's a little stood again. And now I thought you'd see that.
Oh. He's activated.
Yeah. All right. Another one. I forgot. Did we do? Oh yeah, we did. It was Mac and me. I was like, for the the last one. Yeah, like pick a particular one. What did we last? Okay. I'm going to ask, do we want to do another bad comedy? You know, because one just popped out. Man, maybe we should. This kind of goes in line with some of our recent ones. Do we want another bad comedy?
Yeah, sure. I'm okay with that.
Featuring another SNL alumni.
Oh no, it's not like the Love Guru, is it?
No. It's not one. Well, I mean, maybe he's been in a movie that we've done. I don't know.
Okay.
And this is not this is pre SNL. I'll say that.
Okay.
So from 1989, directed by Valerie Bryman, Going Overboard, starring Adam Sandler. That's who
I've seen this movie cover.
Okay. It's a very like badly photoshopped one of him, like, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. This is we I feel like we're kind of running a theme. Well, I don't know if this is like raunchy, but I feel like we're just kind of running a Norbit into Movie 43 into Going Overboard. These feel kind of like sort of sister movies in a way. All right. So yeah, watch Going Overboard before the next episode if you don't want to be spoiled for it. These episodes come out on Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST on YouTube in video form, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more in audio form. We also have social pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And with all that said, yeah, I suck dick for gold coins. I'm TJ, and with me as always.
As always, vagina is way too complicated. And I am Nick.
And a vagina, pussy, penis, poop.
My neck looks like a vagina. Here you go. The shit writes itself.
Yeah.